Hi there, Karen Flaherty here. Welcome to another Human Design Weather from Living by Human Design. Today we're going to talk about the gate 27, which is the gate called Nourishment or Responsibility. Okay, so today we've got the starting April 22nd, actually, Friday, early in the morning, we've got the sun in the gate 27, and that'll go until April 27th next week. And then we've got the earth in gate 28, which is called struggle. So we've got the 27 coming off the left side of the sacral here, and it connects up to the 50 in the spleen. So if you happen to have the 50 defined, just for example, and not the 27, this is a great time to declutter. This is a great time to get stuff out of the closets and do some spring cleaning and get some things going that you might have put off for a while. Because if you got the 50 connected to the 27, that will create the entire channel. That will define your spleen then, if it's not already defined, and will have you want to declutter. Take my word for it. Then with the 28, we've got that's down here, the gate of struggle, and that's coming off the bottom of the spleen. So it's a kind of a quiet week. Again, we just have the 2343 defining the ajna in the throat. And again, this will go on till July, but there's no planets that are retrograde this week. Mercury is coming up retrograde, I think, at the beginning of May. And but we've just got this channel of structuring and no other actual centers defined. So you might have things that meet up with some of these gates that are defined in the transits. They might meet up for you and create some definition, but overall, this is all that we've got this week in the transits. So as I said, the sun is in gate 27. It's the gate of responsibility or nourishment. It's literally it's about caring for children and the tribe, the culture, whatever it is, taking all the little ones and raising them to adulthood. That's literally what this gate is about. And so it's called nourishment or caring in the original I Ching. It's the enhancement of the quality and substance of all activities through caring. And what they mean by caring is the family caring, the familial caring, the, taking care of whoever is in your family group. And really raising them to adulthood and making sure that they get, so it's nourishment in all kinds of ways. It's nourishment in terms of food, yes, and air and water, of course, but it's also nourishment in terms of education, in terms of values, in terms of really instilling in the children what it is that you want them to bring into adulthood. And making sure that they become upstanding and vital citizens of the world. In the IHDS, the Incarnation Crosses this week are the cross of the unexpected, the cross of caring, and the cross of alignment. And then the gate 28 is called the gate of struggle. Generally, it's also called the preponderance of the great or the game player in the original I Ching. And this is the kind of gate where if people have it in their chart, usually by the age of 40-ish, they're getting over the struggles. So the gate of struggle doesn't basically carry you all the way till or throughout your entire life. It's usually the struggles that we need to learn in the first 40-ish years so that we can know what's worth fighting for in the second half of our lives. And it is part of the individual circuit, and they call it the transitoriness of power and influence. So it can be about power. It is part of that individual circuit. You might have a message to bring forth. But the fears that are associated with the gate of struggle are kind of unique in that it's all about fear of death and fear of life having no purpose. And so this power or this influence may come about, but it's only after the struggles. In the Gene Keys, purposelessness is the shadow, totality is the gift, and immortality is the CD. So what Richard says for the Gene Key 27, generosity is about how we spend our most precious commodity of all, our time. How do we spend our time? He's asking, because this is about, it goes from the shadow of selfishness to the gift of altruism, and the CD is selflessness. So this is questioning the altruism, right? Generosity is how we spend our time. And the repressive shadow is self-sacrificing, and the reactive shadow is self-centeredness. So the self-sacrificing is when we're basically giving without boundaries and giving away our power, really. So, some people might think it's great to give and give and give. But to give is to receive. And that giving without boundaries is kind of goes nowhere. It doesn't help anyone if you're just giving without boundaries and not keeping your own power in that equation. The reactive is more self-centered. That has to do with giving, yes, but giving for a purpose or an agenda, and not really giving out of the generosity of your heart. And neither of these are from the heart, by the way. The reactive is from the mind. Self-centered with an agenda is from the mind, and the repressive is not from the heart, but from the self, really, just giving away yourself and giving away that power and not really basing it on your values. So just something to watch out for, because women especially tend to feel like they have the responsibility, but don't have the power in our society sometimes. And so just because you're in a situation where you don't have power, doesn't mean it has to stay that way. You can regain that power, perhaps slowly, but you can regain it by creating boundaries. So that's kind of an important lesson with this one. Because this, I'll be honest, this gate, the 27, is one of the ones that we see very much associated with breast cancer and autoimmune disorders and things like that, because people are just giving and giving and giving and not standing in their power, not standing in their values, and giving way too much. The gift is altruism, which, kind of brings it to another level. And he says something like, you can think of generosity as charity and just, again, the giving and giving and giving, or it can be more like philanthropy, which has a bit of a different definition in that it's always given for a reason, an agenda, but with the understanding that things will get better. In other words, most philanthropic organizations are, they always have a mission, right? Literally and legally, they need to have a mission statement. That's a 501(c)(3), for example. You have to have a mission statement. You have to have an agenda for what you are going to accomplish. And if you don't have that, you don't get to be a 501(c)(3). You don't get to be a not-for-profit. And so the not-for-profits that are actually philanthropical institutions are actually quite determined and quite centered around making a difference and making sure that things are moving forward with the money that's being given. So it's kind of an interesting way to look at it, but philanthropy is a different way of thinking about generosity. It's not just charity for charity's sake. It's not just, throwing, $10 or $100 at something. He says, when we give of our heart freely to others, then strangely enough, we create more time. So that kind of goes with the how are we spending our time, right? He also says that to give to others simply for the sake of giving activates healthy currents deep within your body. So when it does come from the heart, when it is from a place of generosity and gratitude too, right? Because sometimes we're giving because we're blessed, because we do have gratitude for what we've been given. We're able to give more. He also says the gift of altruism is equivalent to how deeply we can feel our higher purpose in life, in sync, right, with what our purpose is. So some personalities born in the Sun Gate 27 are Shirley MacLaine, Jack Nicholson. Funny enough that I think they've been in a few movies together. Barbara Streisand, Lennon, Michael Moore, who we'll be taking a look at, Channing Tatum, Ulysses Grant, Coretta Scott King, Martin Luther King's wife, and Amber Heard. So I thought we'd take a look at Michael Moore's chart today. He happened to be born on April 23rd, 1954 in Davison, Michigan. He's a 2-4 profile as a projector, and he's got the right angle cross of the unexpected. He's in case you're not familiar with him, he's the Academy Award-winning documentary filmmaker. He's an author and a political activist. He has made quite a number of movies. It was really the Bowling for Columbine that won the Academy Award in 2002. And that was about the unfortunate shooting at Columbine High School in Colorado. And but he's also made movies about the water in Flint, Michigan. He's made, because that's where he's from, he's made movies about politics and healthcare and the environment. So he's basically an activist through his movies. And as a projector, that's kind of what he's here for. Now he does have the 27 up in his conscious sun, which we just talked about. And so that's the gate of responsibility, right? Or nourishment. And so he is bringing to people this information, this education, right? His nourishment is education. That's what he's doing through his films. And so whether you agree with him or not, that's the way he's decided to live his life. And that's what he's doing. He does have the 2343 up in his this channel here, as we've been talking about before, and it's actually down here, 43 and 23. And so he has this channel, which we do call the Freak to Genius. It can be, he does have a message. He's here to tell it. And it's probably, he has a very unique way of saying it, right? It's a very individual circuit, or part of the individual circuit. And he has a unique way of getting that information out. Sometimes it hits, and sometimes it's, lauded, and sometimes it's not. He's got that 28 down here, and then he's got the 3254, which is all about having a business and succeeding in business. Now, I don't know exactly how successful his movies have been, but they have made some money. And since he's usually the writer and director and star of the movies, he's probably made a bit of money. And because he has the ambition and he has the willingness or the likelihood of having a business that's successful. He's also got the 5710 here, which is the channel of perfected form. And this, we jokingly say, is if you're a Navy SEAL, this is probably the channel that you'll have. This is the one where you intuitively know the best thing for you and have love, because this is love of the self plus intuition. And you put those together, and basically what you get is this channel of perfected form, where if you're the person who, if you happen to be in a plane crash and you survive, you're the person everybody else wants to follow, because you will find a way to safety. It's also, that's why we jokingly say that it's the Navy SEAL channel, because it's basically finding a way out of danger. It's connected to the spleen. The spleen always keeps us safe. Intuitively, you're finding a way to survive. And with the G, you'll always have the right direction, right? So, where some other people might not know what to do or where to go or how to survive or how to nurture themselves, this person will. And so, it's interesting to see that it's in his chart. Let's see, he's also got that 57 right in his moon. So that's the intuition motivates him. And also the joy of life motivates him. He's got that 58 down here coming off the left side of the root. And the 58 is motivating him as well, which is the joy of life. And so he's, and he's generally a pretty happy character, likes to, be on camera and front and center a lot. I've seen him on a lot of different shows. He's also got the gate of shock. So things are going to come up in or be said perhaps in a shocking way sometimes. He's got the gate of influence coming off the throat, which helps him to be heard. He's got the gate of details, of course, which is interesting. In a documentary, you need the details, right? 35, he's all about change and keeping things moving, always doing something different, right? The 12, he's going to be relatively quiet about his reputation. So he's led a relatively private life. I don't know much about it. 41, he's got the great gate of creativity. So that creativity is going to help him with some of the things he's, it's actually in his values. It's one of the things he values is creativity. His profile is the 2-4, which is actually being the natural. As a projector, it's a nice one to have. He's kind of quiet. With the 2, he's kind of quiet as almost a hermit, home on a Friday night reading a book, right? But then when he's out, he can be gregarious and charming and graceful and all of that good stuff. So So it's a nice combination. We call it the natural. And then just wanted to mention too, he's got the Open Will Center. So perhaps has some self-esteem issues. Being a documentarian is actually a good thing for him because he can go from project to project and then rest in between as a projector, since he has the open sacral. And then finally, he's got the open emotional solar plexus. So it's completely open, and he will take in other people's energies and feel them. And so probably as a director, that helps him because he can feel how other people are feeling and hopefully react to those in an appropriate way so that he's being mindful of what other people are going through or what's up for them. So that's Michael Moore. Happy birthday, Michael. And let's see, he'll be 68 this year. As a projector, there are actually a number of projectors who are directors: Steven Spielberg, Cameron Crowe, Barbara Streisand, as a director. They are all projectors, and they all are able to be wise and direct people, right, as a director in the projects they're in, and then they get to take a break. And then they go from project to project, but there's always a nice break in between, and they appreciate that because they need the time to rest and recuperate. So hope you're getting some downtime, Michael, and maybe working on your next project or having ideas about your next project. So I hope you have a wonderful week. It might be a good week to nourish some of your friends and family in some way this week. You might feel the energy of that. And especially, as I said, if you have that gate 50 that comes off the spleen, you might want to do some spring cleaning. I hope you're having the weather for it, and enjoy the week. I'll see you soon. Take care.